children, murder, genocide, mechanics of death, all through the sky. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, good evening, wherever you may be. How's it going? Welcome to Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is October 2nd, 2024, just past 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And you are locked into Mild's Culture Plate. Yeah, I have baseball on the screen. I'm following the Kansas City Royals game. I am a Royals fan. Kind of trying to follow the Royals game during the show here. Folks, if you're out there, come on in, say hello. Let me know you're in the chat. Let me know you're there. We have an interesting show for you today. First off, not drinking whiskey. Drank a little whiskey last night. Feel free to check my my debate stream from last night. Had some interesting things happening during the debate last night. I'm sure you folks have been bombarded with debate news all day. Everyone talking about the debate stuff. And let me just for a moment, I want to call out conservatives to some degree. Tim Walz misspoke last night, right? He misspoke. He was trying to talk about the problem with school shootings. And he said a lot of things about guns. He said a lot of things about tragedy. And then he said essentially that he'd met with friends or met with families, of the Sandy Hook victims. And during all of this, he says, and I'm friends with school shooters. Hey, we got Billdozer in the chat saying, "What's up and all is well. Cheers and welcome. Good having you by. Good seeing you, my friend. And thank you for the information on Twitter earlier. I might get into a little bit of that later. But as of right now, I want to talk about this Tim Walz quote because I see conservatives all over Twitter slamming Tim Walz for this mix-up, this mistake, this slip of the tongue, so to speak. Because obviously Tim Walz was not trying to convey that he's friends with school shooters. Like this is obvious. And look, the left-wing media, the mainstream media, they do this to Trump and Vance and Tucker Carlson and everyone on the right. Anyone on the right has a slip up and misspeaks like that. The mainstream media and the left wing will do this. No, you said this, you said that. Well, can we be a little better than them and understand that a slip of the tongue in the middle of a debate when you're trying to get several points across in a 1-minute response, when you try to shorthand a complete paragraph in your head, you try to shorthand that to get your point out, you're going to make mistakes. I do it on this show all the time. I beat myself up over it, but I do it all the time. Now, him not answering serious questions about his time in China, we should be highlighting that. This idea that he was in China during the protests and he learned good things and we all should go as right-wingers to China to learn things. Oh my God, I cannot believe he's not being dragged for that. Now, I went easy on him on it last night because I didn't understand the controversy. I've looked into it a little bit today, not enough to really cover on this show today. But quite frankly, those questions should be answered. And instead, he hand waved it as, I was confused about the timeline, but I learned some things while I was over there, and you should all be missionaries and blah, blah, blah. He diverted. But instead, right-wingers want to drag him for saying, I'm friends with school shooters, knowing that it was a slip of the tongue. Hang on, let me what's going on this baseball here. 2-2, 2 outs. All right. Okay, so folks, we have a lot of interesting stories today. First off, I want to get into the celebrity death news. Um, I don't remember the last celebrity death I talked about on this show, but recently we've had a lot of celebrity deaths. James Earl Jones, uh, Tito Jackson, and last week we had actress Maggie Smith from Harry Potter and Downton Abbey. This past weekend we had John Ashton and Chris Christopherson who have passed away. Basketball star Dikembe Mutombo has passed away, and actor John Amos from Good Times has passed away as well. And I just want to have a moment of silence and prayers for the families of these lost celebrities. I mean, thank you for entertaining us. Cheers. Thank you. Your gifts to the world won't easily be forgotten. Hey, we got Neurodivergent One over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Saying hi to our buddy Bill Dozer in there. So yeah, I mentioned John Amos, and there has been sort of some breaking news around the death of John Amos. And I kind of wanted to cover this because this isn't going to be covered by a lot of news outlets. And I think it's important to understand, especially in the wake of things like the lockdowns and COVID and all of these things. And as we get older and we all start to have interesting health issues and interesting family dynamics, I think it's important to hear stories like this and hear what's happening to families. So John Amos's family has released a statement, and this is from complex.com. John Amos's family released a statement after learning he passed away 45 days ago. Quote, "We refuse to rule out the possibility of foul play." She also claimed on her Instagram stories that someone was impersonating her in the ER. Drama continues to persist in the family of late actor John Amos, whose passing was formally announced on Tuesday, though he died on August 21st. August 21st. TMZ reports that his cause of death at Inglewood Hospital was congestive heart failure, and that his son, KC, was listed on the death certificate as, quote, informant. Amos, hang on. Amos was cremated 9 days later, with Casey being in possession of his father's remains. But after his daughter Shannon revealed that she only learned of the news through the media, she's now claiming that a woman impersonating her was present at the hospital. On Tuesday evening, Shannon posted a message about a woman who was in the ER and pretended to be the daughter on the night that the Good Times actor John Amos died. "I am his only daughter," the message continued. "We believe this was Belinda Foster, the woman posing as his publicist. He died alone without family." She then asked those with any information to message her and that it would be quote unquote confidential. Another follow-up post showed Shannon responding to a commenter who was told that she was in the ER with Amos before the death. "That wasn't me," Shannon replied. "I'm his only daughter, and that woman was lying. We only found out today with the rest of the world." On Tuesday, she shared an Instagram montage dedicated to her father and confusion about not being previously informed about his death. "I am without words. Our family has received heartbreaking news that my dad, John Allen Amos, transitioned on August 21st. We are devastated and left with many questions about how this happened 45 days ago and learning about it through media like so many of you. This should be a time of honoring and celebrating his life, yet we are struggling to navigate the wave of emotions, uncertainties around his passing. Still, there is some semblance of peace knowing my father is finally free. And then she continues, my family and I deeply appreciate the outpouring of love calls and texts. Please continue to hold our family in thoughts and prayers. Thank you. And the family also released a full statement. I'm going to go ahead and skip some of that. Well, maybe. Yeah, because it doesn't say anything about ruling out the foul play so far. Our father suffered from dementia, and Casey often gave John verbal prompts to create a narrative on social media that was not reflective of the truth. We were deeply concerned that our father may have been neglected and isolated during his final days as we received photos from concerned neighbors and a medical professional. One photo even prompted an elder abuse investigation to no avail. The situation mirrors Shannon and Casey's mother's passing. Casey also prevented family members from being present and making decisions together. Shannon fought to be by her mother's side and ensured she had agency over her final days. The family also questions why no medical professionals, coroner, or authorities informed us of his passing, and why Casey did not notify any family member directly. We believe there are critical questions that need answers, especially since we believe Casey likely made the decision to have John Amos cremated without the family knowledge. We suspect these actions may have been taken to alter potential wills and collect life insurance and other benefits. This made even more concerning by Casey's struggles with addiction and mental health issues, as well as his previous arrests. While we mourn the loss of our beloved father, we also saddened we're also saddened and outraged by Casey Amos's actions. We refuse to rule out the possibility of foul play, especially given the involvement of two individuals, Eugene Brummer and Belinda Foster, who claims to have been John's spokesperson, who we believe may have taken advantage of his vulnerability as an elder. At a time when we should be grieving and celebrating our father's remarkable life, we find ourselves in the unfortunate position of seeking justice and clarity. Shannon Amos, daughter; Kiera Williams, granddaughter; Jasper and Nakia Williams, son-in-law and wife; Amy Goldie, the goddaughter; Paul Beldesare, business manager; Leslie Franklin, brother; Willie Quinney, best friend; and Cherie Corsoon Scott, niece of John Amos. So there you have it, folks. John Amos, there seems to be a little family feud going on between his son and daughter about his agency in his last days. All right, folks. World War II is still going on, right? I'm teasing, I'm joking, but kind of not. A 500-pound bomb that was dropped during World War II has exploded at a Japanese airport today. The explosion happened at Miyazaki Airport in southwest Japan. This damaged the runway and canceled more than 80 flights, but no one was injured. Officials from Japan's transportation ministry said there were no aircraft nearby when the bomb unexpectedly exploded, but the detonation left behind a crater 23 feet wide and 3 feet deep, according to Reuters. And here's a video. There it is. Boom. Yeah, it's not the mushroom cloud that we're used to seeing with bombs exploding and wartime and things like that. Oh, playing bullshit. The airport was a former World War II military airfield, likely dropped during a World War II air raid. It is an American 500-pound bomb. It remains unknown what caused the bomb to explode after lying inert for 7 decades. Unexploded bombs in Japan are not uncommon. Finding unexploded ordnance from World War II is not an uncommon occurrence in Japan, given the massive amount of bombs that were dropped during the conflict. Just earlier this week, Ground Self-Defense Force detonated and disposed a World War II era bomb that had been discovered at a construction site in the city of Naha in the Okinawa prefecture, as reported by Stars and Stripes. Japanese officials estimate that there may be as much as 2,000 tons of unexploded ordnance on the island of Okinawa alone. Okay, so this is from Reuters and USA Today. Thank you to you folks for that. We have another interesting story here. We've got a Mississippi coroner behind botched death notification says she'll retire. This is from NBC News. Now we're getting into some weird news, folks. I wanted to make sure we started off the show with some interesting stuff, some more off the cuff instead of international war and politics and stuff like that. I like to cover sort of some of the more under the radar stuff that you might find weird, and this is kind of one of them. Sharon Grisham Stewart has been Hinds County Sheriff's coroner for over 25 years. She's never spoken publicly about the failures to tell families about their loved ones' deaths. The longtime elected coroner in Hinds County, Mississippi, who's faced with withering criticism last year for burying men's in paupers' graves without telling their families, is stepping down early. She announced Monday that she would retire December 31st, 3 years before the end of her current term. She said it was time to start the next chapter of her life after 25 years of being around the clock on call. She said she planned to spend more time with her family and explore personal and professional opportunities. Her statement did not address the grave scandal. She's not spoken publicly about it since NBC News began uncovering cases in which the county had buried men without giving their families an opportunity to claim the bodies. Some of those families had reported the men missing to local police. The mother of one of those men, Jonathan Hankins, confronted Grisham Stewart in February at the county's Paupers Field. During the conversation captured on a cell phone recording, Grisham Stewart apologized to Gretchen Hankins and says, "I don't know how to find people." Coverage of the burial stoked public outrage, prompting the Board of Supervisors to enact a policy requiring coroner's office investigators to check missing person registries, nearby police agencies, and other public service offices, as well as social media to find relatives of people whose bodies had gone unclaimed. Police in the city of Jackson adopted a policy outlining how officers must notify families when a relative has died. And the Justice Department stepped in, saying it would help authorities in Hinds County and Jackson improve their death notification procedures. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, she's finally gonna retire, just gonna get that government pension and walk away like nothing ever happened. You gotta love it. Thank you, NBC News, for that story. Over at the Daily Mail, we have an interesting story in the Diddy case. A list of Sean Combs' alleged accomplices is set to be released as part of a new wave of bombshell lawsuits, and the lawyer involved says it contains household names. Quote, "The names will shock you." Attorney Tony Busby said during a press conference on Tuesday as he announced new cases on the behalf of 120 Diddy victims. Got Shut Up I Can Cook in the chat over on YouTube. Good seeing you. Cheers and welcome. The day will come when we name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names, he said. It's a long list already, but because of the nature of the case, we're going to make damn sure that we are right before we do that. Well, get some sleep. Get some sleep. You can catch me on demand later. Thank you for stopping by, though. Busby stated he plans to file lawsuits in several states over the next 30 days and reveal the names at a later date. He confirmed that half the plaintiffs are male. Half. That means half of these SA cases are females. Most of the alleged assaults took place in New York, California, Georgia, and Florida. All the complaints date all the way back to 91, with the youngest alleged victim just 9 years old. 25 accusers say they were minors at the time. Many of the claims relate to Combs' white parties, as well as hotels, and allegedly involving drugs. The lawsuit's latest amongst a dozen to be leveled at the disgraced music mogul, which accuse him of SA and physical abuse. It comes after he was federally indicted, blah, blah, blah. Combs has denied any wrongdoing and pled not guilty to the ongoing charges, criminal allegations. According to the indictment, investigators uncovered a tranche of narcotics and weapons along with 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. Yeah, we knew all this stuff already. Okay. Oh, wait, here's something juicy at the bottom here. We will leave no stone unturned to find all potentially liable parties, to include any individual and entity who participated in or benefited from this egregious behavior. As we do the important work, we ask that the public understand it is very difficult and takes an incredible amount of courage for victims to come forward. I ask that we treat these brave individuals with the dignity and compassion that they deserve as they go through this trying time. Further, I'm also asking, if you've been victimized or are a witness to this alleged behavior, please come forward. Your identity will remain confidential at this time. And then, of course, the SA hotline, 800 200 7474 to make reports. You know, I have seen people saying that part of what's going on with the East Coast dock workers strike might be a way, you know, the Q folks are saying that this dock worker strike might be a way to hold up shipments while they check for trafficking victims. I don't know how much weight to give that. I don't know if I buy that. Okay, we're in the middle of the 8th over in Baltimore. Okay, so into election news, folks. Into election news. I got two stories from the Associated Press back to back here, and they both have to do with the election. We got Texas. Texas can no longer investigate alleged cases of vote harvesting, a federal judge has ruled. Ruling made by Judge Xavier Rodriguez immediately halted the state's ability to investigate alleged cases of vote harvesting, such as the investigation into the League of United Latin American Citizens by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. A person who knowingly provided or offered vote harvesting services in exchange for compensation, money, was committing a third-degree felony. This meant organizers of voter outreach organizations and even volunteers could spend up to 10 years and fined up to $10,000 for giving or offering these services. Paxton has vowed to appeal the ruling. Weeks prior to an election, preventing my office from investigating potential election violations is deeply troubling and risks undermining public trust in our political process, he said. According to Republicans, the provision was put in place to prevent voter fraud and secure election integrity. However, in the ruling, the judge noted there was widespread confusion about how to implement the canvassing restriction from local election administrators. This confusion also left voter outreach organizations uncertain about whether they could provide volunteers with food or bus fare because it could look like compensation. Go away, AP ad. Many organizations, including La Unión del Pueblo Entero, LULAC, and the Mexican American Legal Defense and Education Fund, have filed lawsuits against many other provisions of the law, including voter assistance and mail in ballot restrictions. The challenges to these provisions have not been ruled on yet. The original complaints were filed in August and September of 2021. Before the law, organizations like OCA Greater Houston. Oh my God, AP, are you just sitting here just spouting off? Like this feels a lot like virtue signaling to leftists saying, "Hey, go join these organizations and help them win Texas." Before the law, organizations like OCA Greater Houston, an advocacy organization for people of Asian and Pacific Islander descent, would host in-person election events and allow attendees to bring in their mail-in ballots in order to receive help like language assistance. Nina Perales, vice president of litigation at MALDEF, wrote that today's ruling means that voter outreach organizers and other advocates in Texas can speak to mail ballot voters about issues on the ballot and urge voters to support improvements in their communities. The ACLU of Texas celebrated the rule, saying this is a win for voting rights in the state. So there you go. Ballot harvesting for money. Ballot harvesting for money. Now legal again in Texas thanks to federal judges. Meanwhile, in Massachusetts, or in New Hampshire rather, you have people from Massachusetts voting in New Hampshire and now charged with a federal crime. A Massachusetts couple indicted on suspicion of casting ballots in New Hampshire despite living outside the state. The couple, 56 and 54, faced 3 felony counts of wrongful voting. According to the indictments, they voted multiple times in Concord, New Hampshire, despite living in Massachusetts. They are alleged to have voted in November 3rd, 2020, November 8th, 2022, and the November 8th, 2022 school district election. They're believed to have lived in Massachusetts at the time of each of those elections. A lawyer representing one of those indicted said he submitted a plea of not guilty for his client and looks forward to with the Attorney General's office to better understand the facts and circumstances surrounding these charges. The two are scheduled to be arraigned Monday in Merrimack County Superior Court. So there you have it. There you have it. YouTube tells me, there are certain instances of vote stuff that we can talk about. That's one of them. It does exist, folks. It does exist, safe and secure. But somebody's vote definitely went to that person. All right, so we've got Fox News reporting on one of the latest White House press conferences. Karine Jean-Pierre says the ICE data showing 13,000 illegal immigrant murder convicts being in the U.S. is quote-unquote confusing Americans. Claims Border Patrol data is being misrepresented.
Western North Carolina.
Listen in. It's to this in a moment, but Peter Ducey's asking a question in the briefing room.
Here we go.
Let's listen.
Peter Ducey asking about it.
That has been debunked on what has been falsely misrepresented here. So we have to call that out. And so, look,
can you clarify what the misrepresentation is?
The numbers that is being put out about how many people are out has been falsely represented here. If you look at the total returns and removal of the past year, that has been higher than every year under the previous administration.
Okay, but that doesn't debunk that there are murderers walking around the U.S. who were released by ICE.
If we're going to report something, a data that's out there, we got to do it in a way that is not confusing the American people and certainly not lying. And so this has been fact-checked.
It's been fact-checked because we know we can trust fact checks, right?
Falsely represented.
Last night at the debate,
it's just not okay. And
JD Vance had to really fact check the fact checker.
On Helene.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to go on to talk about the What the fuck? How do I unfull screen this now?
People in Western North Carolina.
There we go.
Were drowning in their houses.
Had to play it to unfull screen it. Pierre responded to the line of questioning, claiming it was a false representation of the data. I think it's important to correct the record here. It's been fact-checked, multiple outlets. It's been debunked, falsely misrepresented. We have to call that out. New data released to Republican lawmakers showed the number of non-citizens who have final orders of removal or are going through removal proceedings but are not in ICE custody. Out of 7.4 million people on that docket, 425,431 are convicted criminals. and 222,141 have pending criminal charges. So there you have the numbers here. Criminal records: 62,231 convicted of assault, 14,000 convicted of burglary, 56,000 with drug convictions, and 13,000 convicted of homicide. Those are the numbers. She's saying it's being misrepresented. These people are here. All right. Looks like we're going to the top of the ninth over in the Orioles game. 2-1 lead by Kansas City. I'm not looking forward to playing the Yankees. I must say that. Not looking forward to playing the Yankees. The Royals always suck against the Yankees. But anyway, on to more news here. Folks, I'm not a big fan of the IRS. I'm not a big fan of tax laws, and I definitely hate the idea of an income tax. But imagine you go visit another country, a United States ally, or you're traveling abroad, and you get held hostage by terrorists. And 15 months, 2 years later, you're released or rescued. And then you come back to the United States. And all of a sudden you're being harassed by the IRS for not paying taxes for the time you were captive in another country. Well, this is a new story here from the New York Post. Evan Gershkovich and other American hostages face thousands in IRS penalties when they return home. U.S. citizens who are unjustly held captive by other nations, like the Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, are hit with big bills from the IRS for unpaid taxes when they return home. Gershkovich and another American hostage, Paul Wieland, who were freed in August, found themselves with a mountain of surprise IRS debt and credit hits for the unpaid tax and resulting fees they accrued while being held in Russian prisons. It's an issue that all freed hostages deal with, and one that the IRS says it can only help so much due to federal laws preventing the agency from forgiving the debt. Hey, Neurodivergent One, talking about Jack Smith and fake Viva bots, and stop by to give me a like. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. People, check out Billdozer and Neurodivergent One. Spread the love. Washington Post reporter Jason Razian, who was held captive in Iran for 544 days, said he was stuck paying a $6,000 bill for unpaid taxes during his wrongful detainment. I got one of those bills from the IRS saying you owe this much on this year, you owe this much on this year because of failure to pay on time, and here's the interest that accrued, Razian, who was freed in 2016, told NPR. His bill eventually ballooned to $22,000. And then the IRS forgave the majority of it, but the reporter was still forced to pay the original $6,000 because, again, federal law says they can't just forgive that money. Chris Coons, a Democrat, is hoping to fix that and introduce the Stop Tax Penalties on American Hostages Act earlier this year to do exactly what the name suggests. Has bipartisan support, postpones certain tax filing deadlines for nationals and their spouses who are wrongly detained or held hostage abroad, also allows for a refund or an abatement of penalties paid by detained individuals. Before it can pass the House, Speaker Johnson needs to bring it up for a vote. Hey, we got Demon's Wrath in the chat over on Rumble and Great Liquor. Cheers and welcome, gentlemen. One for Demon's Wrath. One for Great Liquor. Good seeing you. He also mentioned that additional legislation he's under. Okay, yeah. Social Security benefits, blah, blah, blah. Americans held hostage or wrongfully detained shouldn't be treated like tax cheats, Coons wrote. Okay, folks. You know what? I burned through those news stories really damn fast. Really damn fast. I thought that was going to be enough to cover most of the show here. See, it looks like we're almost at the middle of the ninth inning over on the Royals game. Yeah. Let's see here. What do we got going on? Fuck it. Should I do a Love Don't Judge? We usually reserve those for Saturdays, but I can surely use that to fill the time with the news. First off, let me just talk for just a moment about something that I noticed because I follow Bill Dozer 74. I follow him on Twitter on X, and I saw him talking about something earlier, and I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And I was not aware. Famous live streamer Styx Hexenhammer 666 was arrested today, or maybe yesterday. Yeah, I think he was arrested yesterday, and it appears he's been arrested for some sort of domestic assault issue. Now, again, we've had a lot of content creators in these kind of alternative news spaces who have faced a lot of controversies as of late. And it's pretty easy for the A-logs, Demon's Wrath, you're funny. For the A-logs and the people over on the farms and other places to make a big deal about how, this tends to happen to folks in these spaces. We tend to tear ourselves down, and there's some truth to that. But let me just point out by saying, I agree with something that the Bulldozer said, and that is innocent until proven guilty. And we haven't heard the details yet. Now, look, I think some of the details in the Nick Rekieta case are pretty unfortunate. But, we still have to wait and see what the court decides to do there. And I think to this case here, Styx Hexenhammer, honestly, his online presence is a little, I'm weird, he's weird, a lot of us are weird. I don't get the overwhelming feeling that this person is prone to violence, but I could be completely wrong. I could be completely wrong about that. But I'm not going to judge the man. That's what the courts are for. He was arrested in Louisiana. He does not live in Louisiana, but he was arrested in Louisiana. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see how this plays out. And I do want to say, no matter what happens, I want justice to happen in that case. So I'm going to reserve opinion and any kind of review on the content of Styx Hexenhammer's channel. From what I understand, like the quartering today was trying to raise bail money for him, or trying to pay his bail him out of jail live on stream today. I have not watched this live stream yet, but quite interesting indeed. I mean, the news just. One other thing I will mention before going to Love Don't Judge, because we will do the Love Don't Judge. Might as well. We got time. One more thing I do want to talk about is earlier I said there are plenty of things you could criticize Tim Walz for things that he said at the debate, things that he didn't misspeak about. And one of those was when he made this claim about internet censorship that you can yell fire in a crowded theater, or you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Folks, this has been debunked time and time again, and everyone on the internet should know this by now. Like, anyone with any common sense knows this by now. The problem with yelling fire in a crowded theater, that whole analogy, starts with an assumption that it's fraud, that it's lies. Fraud and lies aren't protected speech. But now, if you yell fire in a crowded theater and everyone looks over and sees a bucket of popcorn just burst into flames, that's perfectly legal to have said that. And so, Tim Walz, if you're going to criticize Tim Walz on his slips of the tongue, we need to beat him up for that. Because that's something that can go viral. That's something that normies will pick up on and be like, oh yeah, that's right. But it also then leads, like, if you take the mental chain back to why Tim Walz said that, it was about quote unquote election disinformation. And then if people take that chain back, it's like, well, yeah, okay. If someone genuinely believes there are issues with the election, like we covered earlier in New Hampshire or in Texas, if someone genuinely believes there are issues with the election, and there's smoke underneath that fire, okay, one strike away from the Royals going to the divisional series. Nope, there it is. Kansas City Royals move on into the playoffs and go on to face the New York Yankees here in a couple days, folks. Oh man, I'm so excited. Sorry, folks. Okay, so let's do some love, don't judge. Let's do some love, don't judge. This is a segment I call Love Does Admonish. And we usually do this on Saturdays, but like I said, we've got a lot of time to fill on the show today, and quite frankly, I burned through a bunch of news stories. Thank you, folks, for showing up and being willing to hang out with me through all those news stories. But yeah, usually we have a couple viral clips and stuff too. But quite frankly, I mean, most of the viral stuff today is just debate stuff from yesterday, or stuff about the war, or stuff about the dock worker strike, which we also covered yesterday before the debate here on Mild's Culture Plate. So feel free to check some of that stuff out. But yeah, most of the viral stuff, not important. So let's do some Love Don't Judge. So the Love Does Admonish segment, if you're not familiar with it, here at Mild's Culture Plate, we like to watch this program called Love Don't Judge. They have their own YouTube channel, and the idea behind it, yes, Love Don't Judge is an utterly facile praise. Yes, and that's the point, though. They're asking you to love them, not to judge them, right? They're saying that their relationships are unique and therefore don't deserve criticism. And all too often, when we watch this program here on Mild's Culture Plate, we watch this Love Don't Judge. We determine whether or not that there are some behaviors, underlying behaviors, that aren't just love. That these other things might require a little ridicule, a little admonishment. And so here we have, and this is one of the things here. 5,000 strangers watch us make love. It's empowering. Love, don't judge. And unfortunately, one of the common themes of the Love, Don't Judge stuff is people like to do whatever they're doing, because every episode's a different, unique relationship. But usually it's whatever they're doing, they like to do it on OnlyFans or Instagram. And so, yeah, This person obviously is not going to be any different on that. So we'll burn through this real quick.
This is Stace. She fell in love with Ty. After getting together, the pair started exploring in the bedroom.
Ty and I have a bit of a shared kink.
Well, it's adult content
We really enjoy people watching us be intimate.
without judgment.
So you're voyeur.
However, their unconventional content has perplexed friends and family.
My family were worried that I was getting forced into it from Ty.
That kind of sense of joke turned into, what's the word? Apprehension? Fear?
We're good to go.
Let's have some fun, shall we?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
I'm Stace, and this is my boyfriend Ty, and we love getting intimate while people watch us.
We love practicing making babies, but we are careful not to get the end result.
Practicing
Friggin' love it.
making
freaks.
babies.
We've been together officially
okay.
for just
I gotta
over a year.
stop you there. Practicing making babies, but we're careful not to initiate the end result. Come on now. Sexual perversion is not quote unquote practicing procreation. The fact that you would make such a comparison to me is a little what do you call it? On the nose, that maybe your biological clock is ticking. And perhaps your perversions are getting in the way of that. But I don't know.
Yeah, and we had
I
known
could be
each
wrong.
other
I could be a
8
hater.
years in total.
There was initial physical attraction, but we were actually both with separate partners at the time.
Years went by, and then I saw Stace pop up on my Instagram feed, and like, damn, she's still hot. I slid in the DMs, and it works. 'cause look,
Oh yeah. As most
I
good
am a
relationships
female
do.
development coach, so I actually look after women and specialize in helping them with body confidence and sexual intimacy. I also do OnlyFans with my partner.
So, why we decided to do OnlyFans? To be honest, it's because we have a kink. We genuinely love to be watched being intimate, having it's our thing.
Started as a bit of a joke, like, oh, we should do OnlyFans. And then I think a day later I said, we're actually serious about that. We were actually already filming content, so it kind of just felt natural for us to start OnlyFans. We decided to try it out, and it took off.
We were already filming content, so it was only natural that we make it public for money. And I'm sorry. I just gotta say, what's up with the dye job? Like it's not just roots, but it's like brownish up here. I mean, the roots obviously are there too, but and then you get down here and it's like piss gold. Like it's not even blonde, it's piss. It's piss gold. And then of course the eyebrows give it away that it, she's got like damn near black eyebrows, but piss gold? Come on now.
Off pretty quickly.
To film one with the intention that it was going on OnlyFans? No, there was no reservations.
And it kind of built the kink a little bit more. I was quite nervous to tell my family about OnlyFans. I didn't want them to hear it from someone else.
Why?
So
Why
I had
would
that
you tell
conversation
your
pretty
family?
Early on, my family were worried that I was getting forced into it from Ty. It's the first that they had heard of it.
Look, if you're an adult, if you're old enough to have an OnlyFans account, you're old enough to make decisions without telling mommy, daddy, and brother and sister, right? Come on, folks. I mean, granted, you may want to warn the brother, so if the brother's browsing OnlyFans and comes across your bare ass, he knows who to block.
But obviously, I don't talk about my kinks with my family. They took
Oh, I don't talk about my
kinks
kinks with my family, but I did
Let's
tell
still
them
come
about
around.
OnlyFans.
I'll get you 10. When we first started our relationship,
Fucking
it was
boundaries,
for it.
woman.
And suddenly we started up OnlyFans. It's like, okay, is this a joke? When I told my friends, most of them were really supportive. I got high fives. A couple, though, they were concerned about my reputation. Okay, so it was different in the fact that we knew
Oh,
now
he
it's
has
not
a
only
reputation?
us watching it, it's whoever wants to access it. You know what? That's a hell of a turn on. I'm sure, 99% sure that people I know.
See, now, when he says that, it's open to whoever wants to access it, and that's a turn on. What if your dad wants to beat off to your woman? What if your cousin, what if your best friend is beating off to your woman? What if your best friend beats off to your woman, and then next time you're out to dinner, kind of whispers in her ear, hey, you want to make a video together? I mean, stranger things have happened.
Have seen our content.
I don't know. I think some.
Maybe yours.
I think some
Maybe
friends
yours.
might subscribe to just be interested to see what it is.
Yeah.
Just setting
There
up
it is.
for a scene. So
They joke
we're just
about
setting up
it.
the lights first because we want all our
The way they just joked about it, you know, it turns them on thinking about their family members beating off to them. You just know. You just know.
content well lit, so everybody can enjoy it.
We have a free account which has 4,500 people, and we have a paid VIP account which has nearly 500 people. So in total, there's nearly 5,000 subscribers.
This gives us a platform to be watched by a hell of a lot of people.
There's always concern when you're doing
VIP account. I'm curious to know how much money that brings in.
something that is unconventional. We're putting ourselves out there in a way that a lot of people like to keep themselves private. But
Filmed
when
with
I looked at
iPhone.
it from the standpoint of this is a part of who I am and I'm confident in who I am, then that took away all the nerves. Okay.
Worst
I'm
Apple
ready to shoot.
phone ad ever.
babe, I think we are good to go. Are you ready, babe?
You found Telly?
Oh, most definitely.
It's a trick.
All that time in the gym, and look, Demon's Wrath. I'm sorry.
Right.
All this time in the gym.
Someone
and
else.
look at their fucking hair.
So we're back answering questions and comments that we get on our videos.
Okay, so the first one is we've been sharing our relationship online as an OnlyFans for 8 months now. Initially, when we were getting a lot of judgment online, it would cut deep. It would.
A lot of people online will say that I'm just a number or I'm on rotation. How can our relationship be serious if we're sharing our intimate parts with the world? He's probably getting his fair share on the side.
Uh-oh.
So it's all about,
It's really that tone that I'm not taking you seriously. isn't
yeah,
it?
you being happy doesn't mean that it's not sad.
Despite the fact that we're happy. Okay.
Come back when you're married to him, recreational use by him.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Look at the deadness of her face as she reads that one. She went from smiling to damn near concerned. Like, am I going to be the wife? Am I going to have your babies? Don't know. Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Cool. Thanks.
When
Oh,
I
and when he
first
says
read
cool,
these, it
He
did hit.
smiles.
It was quite
Like,
upsetting
oh.
because it makes me feel like people think that I'm not good enough for Ty. There's a perception that because we're doing this, he's the one that's kind of like, oh, this is just a joke. I'm just going to do this and then move on.
And then when you get the same types of comments again and again and again, you know, it hits you again and again.
The judgment makes me
Aw.
feel, I mean, somewhat quite defensive, but
Aw.
more recently, I've just learned to kind of let it go.
Judgment from others means
Putting your
very, very
romance
little.
on the
We're doing
internet
this because
might have
we enjoy it. We're doing this because we have a king.
consequences. Who would have thought?
We are jumping on a call with my mate Joe. He's my training partner at the moment.
Training partner. Okay.
Jim Bros.
so
He had
I was wondering because they were talking
a lot
about
of
family and
reservations
stuff earlier when they
first learned we were doing
previewed
OnlyFans.
this at
It
the
was
beginning.
quite a
Shock.
shock. How did you feel when you first heard that we were doing OnlyFans? You didn't think it was real.
I just kidding.
So hang on, wait. Jim Bro, training partner, and we've seen all these montages of her in the gym. So like this dude, yeah, they got the one friend who's like supportive of this shit, right?
Thinking, okay, well, this is clearly a joke. The more you showed what you guys were doing was real and legit, that kind of sense turned
See, I
into
knew it. I called it. I fucking called it. Oh my god, where's my overlay? I fucking called it. I fucking called it. This dude gets off on the thought of his bros and his family beating off to his woman. I fucking called it.
what's the word?
He was
Apprehension?
showing the videos to his
Yeah.
buddy.
You're this very well-known fitness guy, coach internationally. How that would affect your professional career down the line?
You were coming from a place of heart, and I remember when we first started, it's like, dude, what is it? Why are you doing it? Is it the money? What are you doing?
Yeah,
And
dude,
it's
this
like,
dude
no, man,
is
I'm
one
into
step
it.
away
Trying to
from the
explain to you
cuckolding
is
stuff.
like, we have a kink of being watched. This is the platform we're using, and I think you're fine.
And the kink of being watched is going to be one step away from then him being in the chair watching Jim Bro buddies tag team this chick on camera.
You finally come around to that.
Probably as of maybe last week.
So have we changed your mind about what like OnlyFans is and people doing it?
Okay, that's a big question. On a whole, I still have some reservations about OnlyFans in general, but
Yeah, I'm not going to
you're
do it with
going
you.
at it
Sorry.
almost from an educational standpoint. I think you guys are a vanguard of something bigger and more revolutionary for the platform.
Have we converted you enough that you would contemplate starting your own?
Probably 10 lifetimes from now.
Okay, gotcha. We'll hit you up then.
A lot of our
Man.
subscribers are actually females. We have that passion between us, which I guess appeals to a female crowd. I mean, we're a genuine couple who are very in love with each other. So it's very passionate, it's very intimate. Do you like my outfit?
No.
Yep. Because it's my outfit.
It's our outfit. Isn't it cute?
I think we're stronger than
When
a lot
his
of
jeans
couples
are tighter
who
than
fall
hers,
into the
there's a
conventional
problem.
box.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who want to
Dude,
explore
Bro was
that kind
wearing
of side of
skinny
them that
jeans
don't
that
get the
looked like
opportunity to,
tights.
and that's when they feel they're
Or
not getting
tights
what they
that
want
look
from the
like skinny
relationship,
jeans.
or
That's
they
right.
feel like they're having to hide parts of themselves.
We actually get a hell of a lot of love and support in OnlyFans.
A lot of the time they are from women who are there with their partners, but it is women messaging us. This one says, "Thank you. I'm so grateful for you talking about."
Wait. See, this is fascinating to me. Women on OnlyFans? Like, are they using it like social media? Like, I'm a content creator, you're a content creator, let's talk about our content kind of thing? Because, again, I've never been on OnlyFans. I just assumed it was thirsty dudes throwing money at pairs of tits.
And intimacy in relationships, because the more we talk about it, the more we normalize it. I dream of a relationship like yours. We're having the most that we've ever had. We love watching your videos together, and our lives are way more active. So thank you. That feels good.
Yeah, it feels real good.
Okay, that last one sounded like, those last couple messages sounded like they came from a woman who wants to control her husband's porn habit, so she watches it with him, and that she makes sure they watch couples like this, right? And that it's nothing misogynistic or degrading or threesomes or lesbians or anything like she makes sure he watches porn like this. That's what that sounded like.
You don't have to agree with what we
Controlling
do.
wife.
You're not in our relationship. We haven't asked for anyone's opinion, and no one else's opinion really matters. I never thought a love or relationship like this existed. Makes me feel like that we're kind of unstoppable together.
We are. Deep diving into sexual fantasies, it takes vulnerability and trust. And now you do that on
The
scale
costumes
out
crack me up.
for thousands of people to watch. You got to have each other's backs. And you can find more advice in our OnlyFans, where we actually deliver this naked. I'm hungry.
Yeah. But you are.
Again, look, nudity for money is prostitution, period. I mean, I'm not gonna back down from that. Look, sex work is real work, hashtag whatever all you people say out there. But quite frankly, yes, it's real work in the sense of you're free to do it. You're an adult. You know, you should know the consequences. You should have thought about the consequences before you enter those fields. But they are dangerous fields to work in. And the idea that you would go on a show to talk about the hate you get, how your loved ones don't seem to understand, and you talk about how empowering it is. But again, we've heard some key words in there. We saw him reading off. She obviously has an inferiority complex. Honestly, I still maintain I don't know what attractive traits dudes have. Like I'm not attracted to men. So, I mean, I don't know. That dude seemed ugly to me, but maybe he's hot to a lot of women out there. I don't know. But she seemed like a relatively attractive woman. And this idea that she has these inferiority complexes and that the other women on the internet are provoking that in her seems a little weird to me. Seems like there's a little self-confidence issue there, a little insecurity. that maybe some of this voyeurism is, aha, look what I can hang on to. It's a way to push back on that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be bullshitting. I don't know. That's just what this shit sounds like to me when I hear them repeatedly say these kinds of things. And when they specifically point to these kind of comments from their haters. It's why again, one of our slogans here at Mild's Culture Plate is outlast haters. Cuz that's the thing. If you're going to do the love don't judge stuff, you got to be able to outlast the haters. And like I said, I could be wrong. She did go back to smiling. Maybe they're outlasting the haters. But like I said, man, I'd like to tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z, see where this relationship is in a year or two, because it sounds like he's wanting to get him involved into some deeper stuff. Maybe get the gym bros involved. It sounds like she might want to get to something a little more traditional as far as marriage and babies. But I could be wrong. I could just be reading that into what she's saying. And the way she reacted to those comments. Anyway, folks, it's after 7 o'clock. And, we have a wild card winner in the American League. Have a couple of wild card winners in the American League. The two American League Central teams have swept their wild card games. Now the Detroit Tigers and Kansas City Royals move on to the next round to face Cleveland and New York. And yeah, Kansas City sports, man. I'm sorry. I'm a Kansas City sports fan. Feel free to clown me. Royals had a historically bad season last year, and now they're in the divisional round. They're probably going to get slaughtered by the Yankees, but oh well. At least they get to play postseason baseball in New York, which is more than you can say for a lot of teams in the American League right now. Anyway, sorry, I hate to keep going back to sports. That's not what my show's about. But I do like to let you know a little bit about me and the things I like so that you can clown on me so that I could outlast my haters. Boom. All right, folks, that's going to be it for the show. Reminder that all my social media is down in the description. It's looking like I may or may not do a show on Saturday. We did the debate stream. I might try to do something Friday. I'm trying to figure out the weather patterns here in the Midwest because there are a few things I want to go do this weekend, and it's looking like it's going to be hot Saturday, so I might have to wait till nighttime to do some things, or I might wind up doing them Friday. I don't know. Stay tuned. Follow me on social media. Down in the social media, down in the description of the video, those social media channels is where I will let you know when my next stream is about to go live, or I'll let you know if I have to reschedule it for another time. I'll probably put an announcement out Friday either way. I'm going to try to remember to do that. In fact, I'll go ahead. I'll set myself an alarm right now for 4 p.m. Friday. Clock. Friday, 4 o'clock p.m. Done and done. So I will set myself an alarm so that when that alarm goes off, I will post and you'll be able to find out on my social media when I'm going to go live next. So follow me on those channels. Come back. Like I said, if I do the normal show, 6 p.m. Central, Wednesday and Saturday, if I do the normal show, that's when I'll be live. So you can find me then. If I'm not there on Saturday, come back here, 6 p.m. next Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel, whether you're watching me on X, Rumble, or YouTube. Till next time, folks, hit that like button. Follow me on whatever platform you're watching me on now. Follow me. Oh, sounds like the dog's being let out. That means it's dinner time, folks. So yeah, follow me on social media. Hit the like button. Watch a second video if you're new here. All that stuff. Share me. Blah, blah, blah. Folks, take care of yourselves and each other. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. Catch you next time on Miles Culture Plate. Good night, everybody. Have a